Welcome to StoryGrove, where we share screen-free stories for kids without noisy advertisements. We hope you enjoy. Chapter 1. After Hours at the Zoo. Max and Lily had never been to a zoo as big as this one. The Grand Safari Zoo stretched for acres, a sprawling maze of towering enclosures, winding paths, and animals from every corner of the world. Their family's summer vacation had been jam-packed with city sightseeing, but nothing excited Max and Lily quite like today's adventure. Max, the older of the two by 3 years, loved facts and trivia. He had a notebook tucked under his arm where he scribbled down every interesting animal fact he read on the information plaques. Lily, younger and more adventurous, was all about the experience. She wanted to see every animal up close, climb every rock wall, and taste every snack the zoo had to offer. Their parents had split up the day's fun. Max and Lily spent the morning with their cousins, running from exhibit to exhibit. Their cousins left after lunch, planning to meet up at the hotel later. Both groups assumed the kids were with the other. Max and Lily didn't even notice, too busy marvelling at everything to realise how late it was getting. They wandered past flamingos, cheetahs, elephants and penguins lingering at every stop. Max meticulously wrote notes like, "Penguins can swim up to 15 miles per hour," while Lily tossed pebbles into ponds and tried to mimic the sounds of the monkeys. By the time they found themselves at the back corner of the zoo, near the reptile house, the shadows stretched long and the crowds had thinned. The Komodo dragon exhibit had captured Max's attention for almost half an hour, much to Lily's boredom. "Come on, Max, it's just a giant lizard," Lily whined, hopping up on a stone bench nearby. "Komodo dragons can smell prey from over 6 miles away," Max muttered, scribbling it down. "Well, they'll smell us starving soon. Can we get ice cream?" Lily asked, tapping her foot. Max finally looked up. The zoo felt quieter, oddly quiet. It wasn't until the sun dipped lower and the sky turned orange that they noticed how empty everything was. A loudspeaker crackled overhead.
"Thank you for visiting the Grand Safari Zoo. The zoo is now closed."
Lily froze. "Wait, closed? Why didn't we hear any warnings that time was almost up?" They hurried back toward the main path, but every gate they passed was locked. They dashed to the front gate, only to find tall iron bars firmly shut. There wasn't a soul in sight. "No way," Max whispered. "We're locked in." Lily glanced nervously at her brother. "Should we call Mom and Dad?" Max patted his pockets, then groaned. "I left my phone in the stroller with the cousins." Lily's shoulders slumped. "Mine's in the hotel room." Both stood there, frozen, unsure what to do. Suddenly, a rustling sound. Max spun around. "Did you hear that?" It came from the penguin exhibit, a faint shuffle of feet, then a small voice.
"I told you, wait till they're gone."
Max and Lily gaped as 2 penguins waddled up to the fence, looking concerned. Evening," one of them said, clearing his throat. "You two seem a bit out of place." Max blinked. "Did that penguin just talk?" Lily grabbed Max's arm. "Max, are we dreaming?" "Definitely not," the penguin replied. "Name's Percy. This is Paul. And you're in a bit of a pickle, aren't you?" Before they could answer, a low growl rumbled behind them. Spinning around, they saw a sleek lion padding toward the gate. He wasn't roaring, just casually strolling, as if he were on a late-night walk.
Percy,"
the lion rumbled.
"What's the hold-up?"
"The kids," Percy replied, pointing a flipper at Max and Lily. "They didn't leave before closing." The lion narrowed his eyes at the siblings, then sighed.
"Typical humans. Always lose track of time."
Lily took a step back. "Are we in trouble?" The lion actually chuckled.
"Trouble number, but you can't be wandering around here after dark. It's animal business hours now."
"Animal business hours?" Max repeated, voice shaking. "Where we run the place," Percy added helpfully. Just then, a giraffe's head bent down from above, peering curiously at them. "Are those the humans you're talking about?" the giraffe asked, chewing lazily. "Oh dear, they're not supposed to be here." "Exactly," Percy exclaimed. "We have a whole routine, and now we've got kids stuck in the middle of it." The lion flicked his tail.
Rules are rules. We can't have humans seeing how things really work.
Before they could respond, there was a rustle from the trees. A troop of monkeys swung down, chattering excitedly. What's this? Guests after hours? One giggled. Max raised his hand nervously. Yeah, that's us. The monkey clapped his hands. Ooh, this'll be fun. Percy sighed. No fun. Serious business. We need everyone's help. The lion turned back to the kids.
Stick with us, keep quiet, and whatever you do, don't wake the owls.
Lily glanced nervously at Max as more animals appeared. Parrots perched overhead, a panda lumbered past casually munching bamboo, and a pair of flamingos strutted by, deep in conversation. An elephant trumpeted softly, approaching them. Who's causing all the fuss tonight? The elephant asked, eyes kind but curious. Percy stepped forward. 2 humans. They missed the closing announcements. We've got to get them back out before morning. Quietly. The elephant nodded sagely. I'll talk to Greta at the east gate. She knows the lock system. Max looked around, feeling dizzy. Did you say Greta knows how to unlock the gates? The elephant winked. We run a tight ship here, kiddo. Lily whispered, This is insane.
Stick with us,
The lion repeated.
We'll have to move fast and quiet. The zookeeper does rounds and we've got raccoon problems.
Raccoon problems? Max asked weakly. Percy nodded. Not exactly friendly. They don't like outsiders. Prefer things messy. The giraffe bent low again. Better get moving. The night shift's starting. With that, Max and Lily found themselves swept into a strange, thrilling world where the animals, not humans, were in charge. As they followed Percy, Paul and the lion deeper into the shadows, they couldn't help but wonder, what else did the zoo hide after dark? Chapter 2. After Hours Mayhem. The lion led Max and Lily along a winding path through the zoo, moonlight filtering down through tall trees and casting strange shadows across the pavement. Lily clung to Max's arm, still unsure if she was dreaming or had somehow stumbled into the strangest night of her life. The lion walked casually, like he was out for an evening stroll, his golden mane shimmering in the light. Percy and Paul, the penguin duo, waddled behind, whispering back and forth in hushed tones. As they rounded a corner, they stumbled upon something unexpected, a full-blown meeting in progress. Right there, in the centre of the picnic area, dozens of animals were gathered, seated in a rough circle as if holding some official business. A toucan perched atop the lemonade stand, flapping his wings dramatically. Order, order, the nightly zoo council is now in session. A baboon wearing a straw hat scribbled furiously on a chalkboard, listing agenda items. Fence repairs, snack shortages, lost socks. Max blinked. Did that baboon just write lost socks? Lily giggled nervously. I guess even animals lose things. An elephant stepped forward, trunk raised. First order. Who's responsible for the popcorn spill in Section D? All eyes turned to a group of mischievous meerkats huddled together. One tried to whistle innocently, but the popcorn stuck to his fur gave him away. Percy nudged Max. Told you, we've got routines, meetings, chores, the works. Suddenly, 2 flamingos strutted in, arguing loudly. I'm telling you, Gerald, one squawked. My feathers looked way pinker yesterday. Something's off with the lighting. Gerald fluffed his feathers indignantly. Maybe you need to eat more shrimp, Fiona. Nearby, a group of parrots perched on a lamppost playing a game of telephone, repeating each other's words but mangling them into ridiculous nonsense. Banana pancakes, squawked one. Bandana snake cakes, came the reply. Max couldn't help but laugh. Further down the path, the giraffes were holding what appeared to be a fashion show, draping leaves and vines around their necks and posing for clusters of fireflies flashing like cameras. Lily tugged Max's sleeve. Look at that! 3 otters zipped past them, rolling marbles along the pavement in what could only be described as an intense game of midnight bowling. Every so often, one would trip over its own tail, sending marbles scattering. In the middle of it all, the monkeys swung from vines, flipping somersaults and tossing coconuts back and forth like juggling pins. Don't drop one near the lions, whispered Percy. "They're sore losers." Suddenly, the lion stopped in his tracks, ears twitching. From a dark alley between two enclosures, a pair of glowing eyes appeared.
"Raccoons!"
he murmured, voice low. Max and Lily froze. Out stepped a trio of scruffy raccoons, eyeing the kids suspiciously. The lead raccoon adjusted a crooked baseball cap perched atop his head.
"Well, well,"
the raccoon sneered.
"Looks like we've got outsiders."
Percy stepped protectively in front of Max and Lily. "No trouble tonight, Ricky. Just business." Ricky the raccoon narrowed his eyes.
"Business, huh? Doesn't look like you're running a tight ship if you've got humans wandering around."
The lion's growl rumbled low.
"They're leaving! Soon!"
The raccoons exchanged glances, muttering.
"We don't like surprises,"
Ricky said finally.
"Especially human ones. Keep an eye out, Percy. Wouldn't want anything unfortunate happening."
With that, they slinked back into the shadows. Max swallowed hard. Was that a threat?" The lion nodded grimly.
"They run the underground around here. We'll need to stay sharp."
Lily squeezed Max's hand. "What now?" Percy straightened his flippers. "Now we find a way to get you out of here before they come back, and before the owls wake up. No one wants to deal with them." As the zoo's nightly chaos swirled around them, Max and Lily realized they'd stepped into something much bigger and far more dangerous than they'd imagined. Chapter 3. Wild Plans and Wilder Perils. Max and Lily sat on an overturned crate near Greta the elephant's enclosure, watching as the animals gathered like an emergency council. The clearing was packed. Brutus the lion paced like an army general. Percy and Paul waddled anxiously back and forth. Gerald the giraffe craned his neck to be heard, and even the monkeys swung lazily from tree branches, tails twitching as they listened. "Okay," Percy started, flippers tapping. "Everyone agrees. The humans have to be out by dawn. Any ideas?" Gerald stepped forward eagerly. "I've got it! We tie vines around my neck, let the kids hang on, and I catapult them over the wall. My neck's very flexible."
"Flexible doesn't mean safe,"
Brutus muttered, rolling his eyes. Fiona the flamingo fluffed her feathers. "Darling, no need to get so physical. We could simply hide them in our pond. A little pink paint, a feather boa or two. They'll blend right in." Lily stared. "I don't think we'd pass as flamingos." Greta the elephant rumbled thoughtfully. "What about smuggling them out under my hay? I could load them into my morning cart, roll them out during deliveries." Paul scratched his chin. "And if the zookeeper checks the cart?" Gerald piped up. "Maybe we cover them with extra hay and pretend it's an avant-garde sculpture. Humans love modern art." The monkeys burst into laughter. From above, a parrot squawked.
"Or we could convince the zookeeper the kids are a new exhibit. Rare jungle creatures, extremely talkative."
Max grinned nervously, exchanging glances with Lily. "Or," one monkey swung down, eyes glinting mischievously, "we dress them like us. Monkeys are masters of disguise." "Pretty sure humans can't swing by their tails," Max muttered. The meerkats popped up next. "We'll tunnel under the fence, quick and easy." "But the soil's too rocky near the exits," Greta reminded them. "You'll be digging till winter." Percy sighed. "Any practical ideas?" The otters stood up. "We've been practicing synchronized swimming. Maybe we sneak the kids into the aquarium tank?" Everyone stared. Lily whispered, "We can't breathe underwater." "Oh, right." The ridiculous plans kept coming. The parrot suggested tying balloons to Max and Lily to float them over the wall. "Gravity," Brutus muttered. Gerald offered to wear a giant trench coat with the kids stacked under it. "Zookeepers aren't blind," Percy sighed. The monkeys proposed building a slingshot with vines and bamboo. "No!" shouted everyone at once. Just as the group dissolved into laughter, a rustling sound silenced them. Ricky the raccoon slinked out from the shadows, cap tilted, eyes sharp, but tonight he wasn't alone. Behind him prowled a handful of wild dogs, thin, scruffy, their yellow eyes glowing in the dark. Max swallowed hard.
Well, well,
Ricky drawled.
Still haven't solved your little human problem?
Brutus stepped forward, growling low.
They'll be gone before dawn, Ricky.
Ricky smirked.
Time's ticking, and rumour is some folks aren't happy about extra mouths wandering around, might decide to handle it their way.
The wild dogs growled, inching closer. High above, soft wing beats landed. 2 owls perched silently, eyes unblinking. Humans after hours, one hooted. Unacceptable. Disruptive, the second added. Should be dealt with. The monkeys stopped swinging. Even Gerald bent his neck, uneasy. Percy flapped his flippers quickly.
They're leaving, soon!
The owl stared a moment longer, then vanished back into the trees. Ricky's raccoons slunk back into the shadows. The wild dogs lingered just a moment longer, snapping at the air before following. Everyone let out a collective breath, and Greta shook her head. We need something real. Fast. The giraffes, penguins, monkeys, and meerkats all looked at one another. No more jokes. Max hesitated. What if you create chaos somewhere else? Make everyone look away while we sneak out? Lily nodded. The gardener's gate. You said it's weak. Greta's ears perked. Yes, it's old. The gardeners don't latch it right.
The monkeys cause trouble near the food court,
Brutus mused.
The giraffes block the main paths. Otters jam the fountain. Everyone's distracted.
I'll unlock the gate, Greta said firmly. Percy looked around. One chance. Midnight. Agreed? Every animal nodded. Max swallowed, heart pounding. We're ready. The night had never felt darker. Chapter 4. Chaos in the Moonlight. The moon hung like a silver coin above the Grand Safari Zoo, bathing the grounds in an eerie glow. The paths, usually crowded with daytime visitors, were quiet except for the distant rustling of leaves and the soft padding of paws. In the shadows, the zoo's nightly crew gathered, tension thick in the air. Max and Lily stood by Greta the elephant's pen, their hearts pounding as they watched the flurry of preparation. Each animal had a job, and there was no room for mistakes. Percy the penguin took charge, flippers folded behind his back like a seasoned general. All right, everyone knows their role. The gardener's gate is our ticket out. We've got one shot. Let's make it count. Brutus the lion stood beside him, eyes sharp, scanning every corner.
Monkeys hit the food court, otters, fountains, giraffes clog the main paths. Greta, be ready at the gate. Max, Lily, you're sticking with Percy and me, got it?
Max nodded, gripping Lily's hand tightly. She managed a shaky smile, her eyes darting from the monkeys swinging overhead to the giraffes stretching their necks in preparation. Ready? Percy asked. Ready, the animals chorused, and with that the zoo exploded into action. First came the monkeys. They whooped and hollered as they launched themselves from tree branches and lampposts, swooping down into the food court. Trash cans toppled, soda cups flew, and a popcorn machine was knocked off its wheels, spilling buttery kernels across the pavement. One particularly mischievous monkey, Charlie, grabbed a banana cream pie left behind and hurled it like a frisbee, narrowly missing Gerald the giraffe's neck. Watch the neck, Gerald complained, though he was grinning. The monkeys swung wildly between benches, kicking over condiment stands and shouting nonsense words. Next came the giraffes. Gerald led the parade, striding into the main walkway and pretending to browse leaves that weren't even there. Behind him, a line of giraffes sauntered into position, casually blocking the central paths with their long, gangly legs and exaggerated neck stretches. Fiona the flamingo added to the confusion, dramatically pacing back and forth, muttering about zoo traffic and unreasonable delays. She even scolded a group of confused zebras who had no idea what was going on. Meanwhile, at the central fountain, the otters made their move. They leapt into the fountain basin, stuffing sticks, stones, and even an old shoe into the jets. The result was spectacular. Streams of water shot out at odd angles, spraying unsuspecting animals and creating slippery chaos on the marble walkway. A zebra skidded past, hooves flailing, as the otters gleefully somersaulted through the puddles. Above, parrots squawked wildly, flitting between lampposts and repeating nonsense directions to anyone asking what was happening.
Left turn at the lion's den. No, right turn at the penguins.
Max and Lily watched the orchestrated madness unfold as Percy nudged them forward, steering them between enclosures. Stick close, Percy urged. We've only got a small window before someone catches on. Brutus stalked ahead, tail twitching, ears alert. But halfway there, disaster struck. Out of the shadows, Ricky the raccoon and his gang slinked into view, blocking a narrow pathway between the lemur habitat and the reptile house. Well, well, Ricky sneered, adjusting his ever-crooked cap.
Thought you'd sneak out unnoticed, huh?
Max's breath caught. Lily instinctively stepped behind Brutus, who let out a low growl. Ricky's raccoon crew circled like sharks, eyes gleaming.
Bit noisy tonight, Ricky continued. Makes folks wonder what's going on, and when folks wonder, things get complicated.
Behind Ricky, the shadows flickered. The wild dogs appeared, yellow eyes glinting hungrily, their lean bodies tense. Percy flapped his flippers. No need for trouble, Ricky. Just clearing a bit of business.
Oh, I like business,
Ricky smirked,
especially when it involves unexpected guests.
Suddenly, a loud crash echoed behind them. Charlie the monkey had flung an entire tray of plastic cutlery from the food court, sending forks and spoons flying like confetti. One spoon bonked Ricky's ear.
Hey!
He shouted, momentarily distracted. Brutus seized the moment. Move! Max and Lily dashed after him, Percy hurrying close behind. They ducked beneath low branches, slipping past startled meerkats and stumbling over a stray bucket from the otter's fountain escapade. But the threat hadn't disappeared. From above, a heavy flutter of wings descended. 2 large owls glided silently to a perch ahead, blocking their path. Their eyes shone like twin lanterns. Humans wandering after hours, one hooted coldly. Unacceptable, the second added, feathers ruffling. Brutus growled low, muscles taut. Percy edged Max and Lily behind a hedge. Before the owls could advance, Gerald the giraffe galloped clumsily onto the scene, knocking over a trash can and sending a cascade of leftover snacks tumbling toward the owl's perch. Startled, the owls leapt back, wings flapping. Run! Percy shouted, and they bolted again, weaving through the maze of enclosures. Every corner seemed more treacherous. Hidden raccoons barking wild dogs, and animals caught up in the escalating chaos. Finally, through a narrow corridor of hedges, they spotted Greta's towering silhouette by the gardener's gate. She stood ready, trunk curled around the latch. Percy grabbed Max's arm. Almost there! They rushed toward her, the noise behind them swelling, but just as they reached the gate, Ricky's voice called out one last time.
Tick-tock, friends! Time's almost up!
Greta's trunk tugged hard at the latch, it jammed, groaning. Max and Lily glanced back. The wild dogs slinked closer. The owls circled overhead, and distant monkeys continued their chaotic performance.
Come on, Greta,
Brutus urged. The hinges creaked again, stuck. Lily's heart hammered. Max looked ready to climb the fence himself. Finally, with one mighty push, Greta heaved the gate open just enough. Go! She cried. Max and Lily squeezed through, breathless as the first blush of dawn coloured the sky. They turned to see Brutus, Percy, Gerald and Greta, holding firm, blocking the way, the zoo's secret society standing strong. The gate clicked shut behind them. Outside, the cool morning air felt strange, still quiet, normal. But Max and Lily knew nothing would ever feel quite normal again. Chapter 5. Morning Light. The gardener's gate clanged softly shut behind Max and Lily, and the roar of chaos from inside the zoo faded into an eerie quiet. For a long moment, they simply stood there in the cool early morning air, hearts pounding, hands still tightly clasped. The sky was no longer dark. Hints of soft pink and gold stretched across the horizon. The trees lining the perimeter of the zoo swayed gently in the morning breeze, and the hum of distant traffic signalled that the city beyond was waking up. Max let out a shaky laugh. We're out? Lily nodded, swallowing hard. She glanced back at the tall fence and the now quiet zoo behind them. Somewhere in there, Percy, Brutus, Greta, and all the others were likely already returning to their enclosures, slipping back into their daytime routines as if nothing had happened. Do you think anyone will believe us? Lily asked, her voice soft. Max shook his head. Not a chance. Together, they started walking. The hotel wasn't far. Max remembered the route from the day before, when they'd followed their cousins and parents through the winding streets. Now, everything looked different in the soft morning glow. The shadows gentler, the air filled with birdsong rather than animal chatter. Their feet crunched on gravel as they hurried past shuttered shops and quiet cafes. A newspaper delivery truck rolled by. An early jogger waved without stopping. Everything was so normal it felt almost surreal. By the time they reached the hotel lobby, they were both breathless. The clerk behind the front desk barely glanced up as they slipped past and rode the elevator up to their family's floor. Outside their hotel room door, they hesitated. "What do we say?" Lily whispered. Max shrugged. "The truth, at least some of it anyway. We just went exploring. Lost track of time." She nodded. "No one's gonna believe the entire story." Max knocked gently. A moment later, their mum opened the door, looking groggy but relieved. "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be with your cousins," she said, pulling them inside. Their dad appeared from behind her. "Is everything okay?" Max and Lily exchanged a quick glance. "Yeah," Max murmured, "we're fine." "Just tired," Lily added. Their mum ruffled their hair. "You two look like you must have had quite the adventure yesterday." Max almost laughed at that. He glanced out the window, catching one last glimpse of the city skyline and, in the distance, the faint outline of the zoo. He wondered if the animals were watching too, settling back into their cages and dens, sharing quiet laughs about the humans who almost saw too much. Lily yawned, curling up on the hotel bed. "Let's not go back to the zoo today," she murmured. Max grinned. "Good idea." They wouldn't tell anyone about the wild night they'd spent locked inside, about the animals who ran the zoo after dark, the penguins with plans, the raccoons with grudges, the lion who had their backs, and the elephant who opened the gate. Some stories, Max figured, were too wild to believe, better to keep them secret. Thanks for listening to today's story. We hope you enjoyed it and feel calm and cozy. If you'd like more screen-free, ad-free, and wholesome stories, don't forget to follow our channel. Or hop on over to our YouTube channel for even more wholesome screen-free tales. See you next time.